morning, everyone. My name is Rabbi Lesser, Director of Pastoral Care here at Gurwin Jewish Nursing and Rehab. I hope everyone had a wonderful week. We've started, besides our virtual Oneg Shabbat, a live Oneg Shabbat every Friday at 10:30 a.m. in the morning. Hopefully the TR and the staff tell you about it. Hopefully you're able to come. If you're not able to come, we still have the virtual option available every week, 10:30 a.m. on Friday. But if you're able to make it in person next week, we hope you can make it. It's wonderful to see everyone face to face. I've also started doing more rabbi talks around the facility. Hopefully, when you have a rabbi talk on your unit, you'll be able to come and attend. Wonderful to see you and to speak to you in person. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashares, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, kadosh baruch hu. Shalom aleichem, malachei ashares, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, kadosh baruch hu. Malachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Malachem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, kadosh baruch hu. Barchuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Chuni l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzidchem l'shalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. This week's Torah portion, we discussed the 10 plagues, as Moses is now in Egypt trying to free the Jews from their slavery of over 200 years. This is a story we read and we learn about Passover time. But in the weekly Torah portion, this is actually the story up to this week. Once again, Passover is less than 3 months away as we begin to make our preparations here in the nursing home. But the story is always interesting to learn about. Specifically the 10 plagues. You know, there are 10 plagues which God brought upon the Egyptians. And really the plagues all have different elements to it, different aspects to it. Some of the plagues were plagues that harmed physically the Egyptians. Boils, having painful boils over their bodies was something which harmed them physically. Other plagues harmed them economically. Destruction of property, destruction of animals. Animals, one of the plagues of pestilence was animals died. Animals, we know, was a main economic source of money for the Egyptians. The sheep, the wool from the sheep, the animals, the food, the milk it provided, and the labor in the field as well. So economically also, the Egyptians were hurt. And finally, there's an element of really the sanity of the Egyptians. A plague like frogs, where frogs were everywhere, making a lot of noise, preventing people from sleeping, and so forth. Other plagues, such as wild animals roaming the street, created a fear in the Egyptian eyes. And the lesson for all these different types of plagues is God was telling them that there are many things I could do to make your life difficult, but also to make your life better. The same way God has many ways to punish people who do the wrong thing physically, emotionally, financially. God also has a way to help people out in anything they need. Whether physically they need help, they need a recovery from a sickness, whether emotionally they need help, they need to feel better about themselves, the situation, monetarily. The point of the plagues is twofold. One, for the Egyptians to realize God's control over the world, but also for everyone else to watch the plagues who are not being punished and say, God is so powerful and mighty, He could really help us out in any way possible, the same way He could punish the Egyptians. We'll continue with the singing of the Chadodi, the song which welcoming the Sabbath Queen into our homes. Chadodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Chadodi likras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad ishmiyanu kel ha'miuchad. Hashem echad u'shmo echad. Shemo seferes v'lesila l'chadodi Kras kala pnei Shabbos nikabela. Mikdash melech ir melucha kumitzi mitoch ha'hafecha ravlok shevet v'yemekabacha huyachamo l'alayechem l'lechadodi l'kras kala pnei Shabbos nikabela. Isnari me'afar kumi Livshi big day sefar tehechami al ya ben yishai beis halachmi karvo el nafshi Allah lecha dodi lekras kala nei Shabbos nekabela boi b'shalom ataras pala kam b'simcha u'v'sahala tochem unei yam segula Boi kala lecha dodi kras kala pnei Shabbos nekabela. In the Jewish calendar, we are celebrating the new month, the month of Shabbat, starting next week. Shabbat is known as a month of agriculture, because this is the month where it's considered a new year for fruits. Now, living here in New York, it's very cold, and we don't see any signs of the summer or the spring. When you live in Israel this time of year, there's a change in the weather. The weather starts to get a little bit nicer, and we start shifting from the winter towards the spring. The fruit trees slowly start to get back to where they were. Things start to grow in the trees, fruits start to grow, and it's the beginning of a time period which ends in a holiday known as Tu B'Shvat, a celebration of fruits. Now, it's interesting, the celebration happens, it's still winter. In a few weeks from now, we'll have a celebration of the fruits. The question is, how could I celebrate a fruit tree when there's nothing there? Yes, maybe the winter starts to die down a little bit, but no one's going to say it's spring. Certainly no apples have grown on the tree, no fruits, no pears, apricots. None of these things, raisins, grapes, are there to take for the taking. How can we celebrate a holiday of fruit when there's no fruit? And the answer is beautiful. We're celebrating the potential. Yes, right now there's no apples or pears on the tree, but we know the potential is there. The potential is coming. And in life, we always have to celebrate the future, the potential of what may bring. So specifically of a holiday, when there's nothing to show for it, we can't see the fruit of the labor. We can't see the beauty on the trees, but since we know it's coming, that's reason enough to celebrate. Don olam asher malach v'terem kol yitzir nivra Lies na'asa b'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra v'yacharei klos hakol Livahado yimloch nora v'haya v'hoveh V'yihye v'sifara v'yahado avkid ruchi V'yesishan v'yahira v'yemruchi geviyasi Hado Shem li v'lo ira. And have a happy and healthy Shabbat. A great weekend. We'll see everyone in person next week.